Thanks for all the ice. Oops. They want to call this a sport utility vehicle. Okay, granted. But what it really is, it's a station wagon. Come on, folks. If Subaru lifted this car as high as that, they'd call this a sport utility vehicle. What's good about having a Subaru wagon like this is that you have cheaper insurance. Lower insurance. SUVs tend to have a higher insurance rate due because the insurance companies see those cars are doing more damage to the people that they actually hit than a car would. You know, like if somebody in a car hit you, naturally you wouldn't be as, you know, depending how fast they're going. You know, it's all a matter of speed. But like if you got hit with a smart car, it'd probably do a little damage to you because those cars are built pretty strong. They have that roll cage. They have a lot of steel on it. That's why they're not really that good on gas, in a sense, because that little engine has to constantly rev to keep that car going. You know, with this car, being a 6-cylinder, rolls a lot. You know, it doesn't need as much gas to get the car propelled, and it's just such a well-built engine. And that's how you know a car that's really well made. It's from the fuel economy that you get from it. You know, like the old Acuras, the MDXs, all the sedans had that 3.7 liter engine. They were terrible on gas. Terrible on gas. And I used to say to myself, why would people buy this car? It was ugly on the inside. The outside was nice, but the inside design of it was terrible, with that ugly knob and that V shape. See that? But the car was terrible on gas. All Acuras are terrible on gas. Even Hondas are not that great on gas. You know, unless they go to like Civic 1.8, and the Honda Accord, you know, being a 2.4 liter engine, is going to get the same fuel economy as anything else. But when you get into an SUV, the better the engine, the better the fuel economy, the better your engine is. See, like a lot of people with the new 4Runners, I mean the new Tacomas, they took the 3.5 liter engine and made that the base engine for the Tacoma versus their old 4 liter engine, and they get the same mileage. You know, so why not continue to build that 4 liter engine that you're getting something different now, then use the front wheel drive engine as a rear wheel drive engine, you know, to save money on production costs. Right? And used to be able to get a V8 with the 4Runner. I don't think you can anymore. I think they're strictly the 3.5 liter engine. You know, which people are having a lot of problems with that in the rear wheel drive configuration. Or when they're doing towing, they're putting those big wheels on it. The engines they can't handle it as well as the 4 liter was able to handle it, because those engines are known to be good engines. Where Honda never gave you anything like that. Honda made big displacement engines that drank a lot of fuel to get power. That's not quality. That's not quality. Anybody can make an engine and call it horsepower, and you're going to get poor fuel economy. Where you get a Corvette, 420 horsepower in a V8 that gets 24 miles to the gallon. The Acuras can't do that. So what does that say for General Motors? That's a good engine. If you could take that V8 and tune it to do 420, 460 horsepower and get 24, 27 miles to the gallon that people have claimed, maybe even 28 on the highway, that's excellent. Naturally, the Corvette weighs 3,000 pounds, you know, wet. But still, I mean, the new... Sorry about that, I'm back. I had to do a little maneuver on the New Jersey Turnpike. There's an accident going to Route 22. I wish I could have recorded that. That would have been awesome, but I needed 2 hands. and that's the thing. Like, you know, when you buy a car, you know the car is well made by the fuel economy it gets and the horsepower it produces. But you know, you can't be swayed by fake horsepower. You know, a lot of these cars like Acura, Honda, Toyota, all these front-wheel drive cars, that's not accurate numbers. You can't get the power from a front-wheel drive car that you can from a rear-wheel drive car. You just can't. Or even like a car like a Subaru that has the transmission behind the engine. It's a different setup. You know, because front-wheel drive is meant for fuel economy, and it's just better. I mean, it's better than having a rear-wheel drive for an everyday driver. That's just the fact. You know, front-wheel drive is better than rear-wheel drive for an everyday driver. So that's why, like, when you buy, let me turn off my rear wiper. When you buy a Subaru, you know, you're going to get a quality car. You're going to get a low maintenance, high miles car that's going to take you places. That, I mean, like, you know, you could do anything you want. And what's good about having an Outback is that it's not really classified as an SUV, and you're going to save a little money on insurance. Not only that, it's so well built that they get such great fuel economy. They love giving out tickets. So let me go back this way. Oh, somebody left their bike out in the snow. Not good. Somebody's funeral. Let me make a right here. And one thing about Jersey, the roads are, you know, I mean, they're not the greatest roads in condition, but they're designed to flow. Jersey's not a pedestrian state, I can tell you that, like New York is. New York is a pedestrian state. You know, like if you go to New York City, there's sidewalks everywhere. You can walk anywhere you want. You can walk, the only place you can't walk to, I think, is Staten Island. There's no way of getting over, well, you can, well, I guess you could. If you wanted to walk over to Staten Island, you would have to walk over the Brooklyn Bridge, because you can't walk over any other bridge going into Manhattan. And then from the Brooklyn Bridge, it's not that far, you can take the Staten Island ferry, and that'll carry you into Staten Island without you driving. So technically, you can walk all the 5 boroughs, because Brooklyn and Queens are connected. And so you can walk to Queens, no problem, or ride a bike. And Long Island is actually connected to Brooklyn and Queens. That's one big island. Brooklyn, Queens, and Long Island, the whole Nassau and Suffolk counties are all 3 of them are connected together. Then if you wanted to walk to the Bronx, you'd have to go into Manhattan over the Brooklyn Bridge, and then go over one of those little bridges that take you into the Bronx. Or you could take the train into the Bronx. But if you wanted to walk, you can. You just can't walk into Staten Island. That's the only borough you can't walk into. Queens you could walk into very simply, easily. And the Bronx, Manhattan, you just walk over the Brooklyn Bridge and you're in. And that's the only bridge. And then once you get into the Bronx, I mean, you're on mainland USA, because Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens, and Long Island are all islands, you know, including Staten Island. So you're actually on an island. You're technically surrounded by water. But once you get into the Bronx, that's why they call it the Bronx, I guess. You're in mainland USA. Yeah, so I mean, I think you could pretty much hear it. I'm gonna turn my camera around. You might get a better. Okay, here we go. Now is that normal? I'm gonna get on the highway now and see if that's normal. But this car's flawless. I mean, that's just, you know, maintenance. I mean, bearings are gonna go, and It's not something that. But my front end is original, 130,000 miles, not a clank, original everything. So here we go. Now you can probably hear it a little better. Yep, there's my hand. So I don't know if you got a good, maybe you can hear it better like this. You don't want to look at my palm. But this guy has leather interior, and the seats are very comfortable. You know, my seat is a little crushed. I could probably get a new pad because the passenger seat is a little higher up than this seat. You know, because you know, I sit in this seat. No one really sits in that seat. I mean, that seat rarely sees any people in it, you know. So, and usually all cars are like that, unless you're driving a taxi, you know. But like in everybody's like personal car, you know, the driver's seat. But this driver's seat held up. I mean, the leather is like new. It held up so well. I mean, this is such good leather. You know, when you look at other cars, the leather is just horrible. Even a Mercedes. Like, you look at some Mercedes, the leather is terrible. Especially like the vinyl they use, the MB Tex, the famous MB Tex. The old MB Tex was good. The stuff they put in these cars today is not good at all. It cracks. It cracks. BMW, I've never seen a cracked seat. Never. With Mercedes, I've seen cracked seats, but I believe that Mercedes are better cars. They're not as fuel efficient as BMW, but they're more reliable per se. You know, they're maybe, you know, but the parts are just so expensive. I mean, this is probably better than both of those manufacturers. Subaru, a little company like this, you know. So you can see, like, I'm hitting potholes and how it's taking the hits. It's pretty good. I don't know if you hear that. So then I took my foot off the gas, and I'm giving it gas. This is a limited, this car, with navigation. I don't like navigation. I would have rather had the compartment, because I have a TomTom, or I could just use my phone for quick navigation. I don't need a big navigation screen. It doesn't. I'd rather have the car look nice with a nice radio, and that's it. Backup camera, and I'm good. You hear that? Now, I used to think it was the noise coming off the Jersey barrier here, but it's not. Like when I'm on the highway doing 80 miles an hour, it's louder. It's a little louder. So my mechanic said it's not the tires. I don't know. Maybe I should have had him rotate them. Because those tires in the rear are used tires. You know, you can hear it. The other thing, I went to the mechanic. I wanted to change the transmission fluid, and he, you know, like, you know, they looked at it and they're like, "Oh, don't do it," this and that. But this car, you could actually drain and fill, so you don't technically have to change the filters and all that, do a complete flush. But I don't think I've ever done it. So he says, "Don't do it because it's going to be bad for your car." Here it is, louder. cops here, so I can pretty much go as fast as I want, but since it's all wet out and slippery, I don't want to crash into anybody or into the wall. I'm going to get away from the barrier, and you can still hear it. And I'm doing 65. These are the original struts. If I do have any struts, I'm going to lift the car 2 inches, which is going to make the car look pretty cool. With a 2-inch lift, that's awesome. I mean, and this car gets up and goes. I mean, if I want to go, I can go. I can do, 90, 95, and cruise like nothing. Like one time I was racing a Land Rover or a Range Rover, and that thing was such a slug that he was trying to pass me on the parkway. It was 2 lanes.